Welcome to Good Night Book with Erica and Nate.
The horse, is that the expression?
Yep.
You don't want to put the cart before the horse?
Mm-hmm.
I definitely always want to say you don't want to put the horse before the cart, but that's what you'd want to do.
You would want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But
See,
if you're not
again,
into horses, you wouldn't know that.
Yeah, it's kind of, I'm speaking from a place of ignorance here. It's like, where's this thing? Excuse me. When I rent a horse and cart at the airport or something, and I'm like, excuse me, can somebody? This is embarrassing. I'm not a horse guy. Could you just? Can somebody? Where does this thing go?
I can just picture it.
Points at horse.
Points at horse. That's great.
Yeah. So obviously the book we're talking about today, not to put the horse after
anywhere
the
near
cart.
that.
We're not. I'm not getting near that fucking horse. Okay. But the book we're talking about today, I think, kind of maybe the books we're talking about today.
Yeah.
We'll call this one Regarding the Little Brute Family, because Erica recommended this from a distant, scary memory, and turns out she recommended the basic B version, the intro version or something, but what she was really thinking of was a different one. So we're going to talk about both of them because it'll be a nice setup, I feel like. So it's The Little Brute Family, and what's the other one called? Sorry.
The Stone Doll of Sister Brute.
The Stone Doll of Sister Brute, which is a much scarier sounding name, by Russell Hoban, with pictures by Lillian Hoban. No relation. How do you want to do this?
I don't know. I lost my synopsis already for the first one, so I could wing
I
it.
only have a synopsis for the first one.
Oh, perfect.
I never
you do
wrote
that
one
one
for the
and
second
I'll
one.
sweet.
Okay, this
All right,
is great.
perfect.
Okay,
great.
So I'll do this one.
Okay.
Hold on, I didn't do my vocal exercise. Oh, wah, 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 wah. Okay, here we go.
Okay, you're good.
I sound great. So, my synopsis is: some miserable, destitute little goblins learn that they really just need to smile more. Yeah, see, I think sometimes my synopses rely on the factual content of your synopses.
I guess. Yeah, that's really good.
Maybe I've been outed as taking advantage of your hard work and phoning it in for an easy joke. But so basically they find a good feeling in the woods, and they use it to make their lives happier, and they change their names from the Brute family to the Nice family.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's hear your synopsis for the second synopsis.
Yeah, this is definitely a follow-up, even though it's introduced as happening before they change their name to Nice.
It's a prequel, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so I said, a sad little brute girl asks her brute parents for a doll and gets a stone. She makes the most of it, but also inherits a kicking dog and more love somehow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that dog was scary.
Yeah, I know.
I think I'm going to just generally say that I don't know. I'm not going to put a judgment on it, except to say that I enjoy the blunt children books. I think those are funny, and that when they're kind of mean. And I realize that there's problems with it nowadays, calling anything ugly, I guess.
Oh, wait.
Or whatever. There's a bunch of stuff that's just maybe too dark. But
yep.
I think it's funny, and I think it's nice to hear it's almost like an acknowledgement of the darkness in the world. And I feel like I've got a goth kid, so I don't know. There's just something I find comforting about that she might find comforting about that, since she is a goth kid and thinks about that sort of stuff. And if all the books are about nice, really, shallow, normal stuff, Like maybe she might feel weird about being so goth all the time.
Right. I feel like there was more of this. I mean, this is a book from,
Hmm.
actually, I don't even know, the 70s, I assume. Um,
I assume
so
that
when I
too.
read it. And I think there was just more of that, more just like two sides of every coin, um, not necessarily telling like a lesson.
Mhm.
Although I mean, the first one certainly has like a full circle kind of, they go from being totally miserable and then realizing they have the ability to make themselves happy. So
Mm,
there's like a,
I thought the
transition
second one had a pretty deep message actually
about finding love where you
about
live.
but also I thought it was interesting. So the stone didn't work because it couldn't love you back. The
Hmm.
dog didn't work because it didn't treat you appropriately with love.
Hmm.
So just because it wasn't enough just to love something,
Right. It has to love you
it has to
back.
be returned in a way that is safe to you,
Oh.
that you want it. So I thought that was actually pretty deep. And I think maybe I connected to it so deep because of Brenda Jo Hubbard's beautiful
Oh my
performance.
gosh. Yeah. Yeah,
Brenda
she's
Jo
so
Hubbard
good.
is our favorite YouTube author. I like how at the end, did you stay for the after the post credit
At the second
sequence?
one, yeah.
Yeah, she comes out in front of the camera and sits down and says, "Thank you for joining me for my second Little Brute book," as though she wrote them. That's what
Yeah.
it makes it definitely seem like she is the author of
Taking
them.
credit for them. Yeah.
And she's got this pretty thick Boston accent, which I think
Yeah.
is very appropriate for this book, for these
Hmm.
books. Like it works. I don't know if it would, brother and sister, I don't think it would work quite as well for uh, Peter
Blueberries for
Rabbit,
Sal.
maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah, Peter Rabbit. Peter was running through the garden. Um,
I
anyway,
also I was kind of hoping I was so excited when she sat down in front of the camera. I was like, "Ooh, is she gonna like analyze this book?
mhm.
Like I could use somebody to like pull this apart for me a little bit." But yeah, she was definitely
Obviously, you didn't really
taking
figure out
credit.
anything. They had
I
applied no critical thinking to it.
No, I didn't. I think that's because the second one, this one with the girl and the dog and the stone, is seared into my
Mhm.
brain as a child. The imagery
So,
just
what did you feel about it as a child? Did you like this, or were you
did like it.
scared
I
by it?
liked like I was a little scared by the dog. I loved the stone doll. I thought she was beautiful. Like I wanted one.
Hmm.
And then the dog, I also was a little surprised reading it again because I remember the dog being like cute and sweet. Like I
Mm,
remember
really?
liking him and being like, oh, he came around in the end. But he doesn't. He's always
No.
shown kicking with his
Yeah.
hobnailed
The
boots.
spike boots are insane. What a
This
dark
is what
character trait. I guess it
I
just
know.
feels like not subtle. But I guess
Right.
there's nothing subtle about the brute family.
No. No, and I think you're right. It is like I kind of finally got it. I was like, oh, this is like a metaphor for like loving your abuser.
Uh-huh. Right, exactly.
Yeah. Like don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. That's what it's
But they
trying to
didn't
say.
kick the abuser out. The dog is still
Oh
there.
yeah. Well, what are you gonna do?
Smiling. I know. He
Get
means
kicked.
well.
Hmm. But
He
you
doesn't
need
mean it.
other things too besides your abuser. You need other people around.
Well, I do, yes. So this book is the boots on the dog and the doll wrapped up. All I don't know. I must have just like sat. I feel like, in the 80s we didn't have much to do, so I would, we'd read the book and then I would just sit there and like stare at the pictures and picture them in my life in those boots. I mean, I probably to figure out what this book was, I probably Googled like spike boot dog,
Mhm.
like
Right.
so it did stick with me.
Um, Trauma, spike boot dog. Um,
Yeah.
the yeah. Yeah, the dog, I don't know. It looked like something else. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The dog was a weird character. I don't know
I know.
what to do with that one. What about the? It's kind of sad too that she throws the stone doll at the
Dog.
dog. That seems
Yeah.
weird. I don't know. I guess it's just like talking about destructive love. I think that is like it's
Yeah.
pretty. What happened to this
That dog.
this guy, this author,
Right.
or Lillian? I don't know which are more,
Well, the dog, I thought that part was sweet
Russell.
because he catches the stone doll in his
He
mouth
loves it.
somehow. And he's like, no one's ever played dolls with me before. You
Mm.
must love me.
Now you really love.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Would you read this to your child
yeah, for sure.
and children? Would you? Oh,
Yeah, I would. I wouldn't let Brenda.
yeah. Would you do voices for the dog?
Yeah, I guess probably do a Boston accent. Now I know you really love me. But this one goes out to Muhammad, and she's also like dedicating the book
Yep.
to her friend and her friend's daughter, her son.
I guess. I know.
I just don't think. I
I
think it's
so many
stolen
questions.
valor. Is basically what I'm saying. I think it's stolen
Hmm.
valor, and I'm not going to stand for it. I'm going to unsubscribe from her.
Well, you definitely have called.
By the way,
Okay. Well, you'll show her.
did you happen to fall down a Brenda Jo Hubbard rabbit hole at all and watch her other videos?
I dabbled briefly and then I immediately backed away.
I s- I almost fell in. I was like knee deep, and I luckily got out just in time. But yeah, a lot of drumming videos on. I'm not sure. She seems to be drumming on like whatever exercise balls. Is that was
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah,
I
I
feel
thought
like
they
it
were
was a
fitness
dream.
videos. That's funny. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. And then some karaoke video.
Oh no. Oh, that's hilarious.
But
Ah,
the
I love it.
drumming ones, the I didn't watch any of them, but I watched the beginning, the introduction of a couple of them.
Hmm.
One was Girl on Fire, I think. One was the Cup song.
Oh God.
Anyway, I don't know.
It's hard to describe this. This is such a visual and audio experience that
Yeah, just go
now
look
that
her
we
up.
you
Subscribe,
should put a link to her YouTube
subscribe.
channel.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh God. Yeah.
She gets she suddenly gets 3 new subscribers. I was gonna like,
We, something about us, I know you don't do it very often, but like having the books read to us.
mhm,
I do it, when
all the
I'm like doing
time,
this last minute and
every
all the
night to
time.
go to sleep.
Uh, no comment. But I realize some of them are too triggering for me because they're people who are clearly like kind of wild-eyed and like in the early days of the pandemic being like, I'm giving back and and forcing themselves on you a little bit. Like I wouldn't choose to experience you in the way you're experiencing life right now, and I don't want to remember that time. So there, I stumbled upon. I'm not sure if that's what this lady is doing. Like,
Mhm.
was this her journey through COVID?
Oh,
To put
maybe.
all this stuff out here,
I
and
really
then
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Maybe we should have her on the show.
Okay, that's a new segment.
Okay.
I think we've talked about this before. We should maybe come up with a list of our favorite narrators slash authors.
Sure.
Of these
I only
books.
have one, and it's Brenda. I've
Yeah.
only ever done this once. I don't. In fact, tried to mute her and just like
Yeah, but
read the.
she
But she
wasn't
is
doing a
not
good
good
job
at.
of holding the pages.
Nor was she doing a good job. She like when she did show the text, she was like missing words and stuff.
Oh.
And not a lot, but a little. Mr. Fry style. R.I.P.
Oh.
Um, I had some questions for you, and they're serious.
Okay.
So this is gonna
Bring it
get
down.
really scary.
Okay. Well, it is scary.
These creatures reminded me of trolls, and we
Mm.
grew up in the troll capital of the world. What are your troll memories?
Of the place where we grew up?
Yeah, lifetime troll memories.
Well, let's see. I remember Open House Imports. Remember that store
Yeah.
that had the troll out in front? So there were a couple
Hmm.
different kinds of trolls in our town. There were the kind of caricature comical ones that were really rotund with like enormous noses. And then there was the guy who sculpted a bunch of them into dead trees in town
Hmm.
that I liked that style a little better.
There was
Um,
also I mean, along with the cartoony style, there was like big statues, but also those little two-dimensional cutouts that would be in people's
oh,
yards.
right.
That would be like their butts or whatever. Like
Right.
somebody bending over. They were like,
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
yeah, but yeah,
And
that's a
somebody standing
separate
there
lawn
water.
argument. Was it? Okay, you have that's a vivid memory.
They were trolls. I mean, they were
Oh, did they
and
have a tail
they
or
were
something?
they were the beginning of the trolls when I was a kid
Oh,
in
interesting.
Mount Horror. There was, and they were still up until pretty recently. They still had them up at that fucking, remember that little motel by Calshers, between Calshers and Quick Trip. This is Mount Horror chat. We're deep into it.
Uh-huh. Yep. I'm just gonna say yes.
You know
Oh, yes.
those
That
little
still
motel.
existed? That hotel motel existed still?
It still does. It's
Oh my
different now.
God.
It's called We Do It by the Hour. It says.
Yeah, gross. It's like right on Main
No,
Street.
I'm just kidding. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't remember what it's called. It might just it was called
Motel.
Trollway Inn or something
Oh
for a
my
long
God.
time. And they had those yeah. So those were my original trolls, my OTs.
Interesting.
My earliest troll
How
memory.
did you know they were trolls? They had tails.
They were I know, I think they were kind of ugly. They had like those like noses with warts and stuff.
Oh, but okay, so you could still see them. You're talking about the 2D versions now.
2D.
Yeah, okay.
Tutti
I
Frutti. Oh,
I
Rudy.
moved. Well, you moved to Mount Horeb at some point,
No,
right? You
you
weren't.
moved.
I moved
Yes,
away.
I moved to Mount Horeb at some point when I was 6, I think. I
Okay.
had just turned 6.
Yeah, I was just a little older when I moved there, so I don't
And
have
that
the
was
same.
before the troll craze really took over. I got in before the trolls. I was
Okay.
maybe the first troll, you could argue.
Oh.
I had similar hair. Do you think that or I feel like I wish that we had been the trolls, like our sports teams. That would have been nice.
I
Although I
know.
think I could see it being like made fun of a lot, especially for the girls' teams, I
I don't
think.
know if it would have lasted, you know? Yeah, exactly. Mount Horeb trolls.
Well, once the movie came out, the Trolls movies and stuff, then we would be like, it would be great. We'd have merchandising. We would have had a
Yeah.
lot of options.
It's
And I
funny.
would,
Did you identify with those trolls movies, having grown up in the troll capital of the world?
no, I identified with the Viking movies. Disney or Pixar's. Are they Pixar? DreamWorks? What is it?
There's a Vikings. Oh,
No, I
the
was
How
just
to Train Your
pretending. I
Dragon?
was just like
Okay.
imagining like
Okay.
if they had done a similar like silly Vikings or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what
Yes.
Trolls is about either. So hey,
Well, it's about those like toys, the ones that they were really popular in the 70s, the little plastic ones,
mhm.
the floof hair. We didn't have many
Yeah,
of those in town. We were like, that's so disrespectful. That's not a troll.
yeah, I know. I'm trying to remember. There's somebody that I met that looks like a troll, one of the troll dolls. I can't remember who it
Hmm.
is. Probably don't want to say who it was anyway.
Probably
Now
not
that
the
I'm
time and place. Yeah.
now that I'm thinking about it, it wasn't in a bad way. It was just like a face shape thing, and they had orange hair, wispy orange
Uh,
hair up into
that's really
them.
funny.
Thank you so much for saying that. I think I have some more questions for you. Where do you
Okay.
see yourself in 5 years? No, I'm just kidding. For the first one, the first book where
Uh-huh.
the parents are
Terrible.
angry and bitter. Do you ever
Mhm.
identify with them?
I
There
did
was yeah.
I did feel like there was a moment where it was like, I can see where everybody's a little unhappy and they're just
I
and but then
recognize
but
this.
then the dad went out to gather like sticks and stones for the meal and I was like, come on, you're just doing this to yourself. Like
Mhm.
there's other ways.
There's other ways. And from last week, I have another question. I've ever played badminton. So I think I'll just check in with how your badminton journey is going every week. Maybe leave
Oh,
that one on
that's
there.
good. You keep me accountable.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't play any badminton, but I thought about it on a walk and got real sad that we can't play because I think it would be really fun.
Mm-hmm. It would be really fun.
I
We'll
know we
have to
talked
make it
about
happen.
but we could. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, us.
Right.
Um,
Not them.
um, so did you ever make anything into a toy? Did you ever make a doll out of something that wasn't a doll, or like make a toy out of a thing that wasn't a toy? Most of my toys as a child involved cardboard boxes. So I would say
Oh,
yes.
I'm sure I am a yes too, if that's one of the examples. Yeah, I liked cardboard boxes. I mean, this isn't exactly the same, but building forts. When I was really little, we lived out in the country
Mhm.
and was building forts a lot.
Out of what? Cardboard?
No, sticks.
Sticks. Oh,
Sticks,
stick forts.
logs.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
Sticks and logs may break my hogs, but pigs will never hurt me.
Hmm.
So yeah, me too. No, I made, yes, I would make inanimate objects. I would name inanimate objects a lot.
Oh, that's
So
cute.
like they had personality. I wouldn't really make anything
Hmm.
out of them necessarily. The most, I did make a stuffed animal once when I was a kid,
Oh yeah.
and it is terrifying. I still
You still
have it.
have it. I
His
know.
name is Patrick, which is also my nephew's name, as it turns out. So I tell him that this is what you were named after, chronologically, anyway.
Sure.
Um,
Technically.
yeah. But yeah, he's terrifying, looking all jagged, and it's
That's pretty cool. That's pretty innovative that you took the initiative and created not just
set up a
something that was
pillow.
easy to do, but something else. Did you get your mom's like sewing kit out or how did you
No idea.
create it?
I mean,
Is
I
it held
must have.
together with
There's no way
staples?
I did it by myself. I mean, as shitty as it was, I think I couldn't do much better now. So somebody must have assisted me. Probably my brother. My brother liked to do projects with me.
Well, that's
Probably just shut
cute.
me up, keep me
Olive
from
makes a
hitting
lot of
him.
stuff with like she went through a big not anymore, but she went through a big phase of like using up all the scotch tape, paper, and staples, and she would just like make craft like little structures out of it all the time and be like, "Here, mom," and I'd be like, "Oh my God, this is all the tape and the staples in the house. Thank you."
Yes, we
Very
go through a
sweet.
lot of tape.
I do miss those days.
We have a big bin of googly eyes,
Yes.
which
Well, you
I
can.
like harvest. I like take the googly eyes up back off of all the art when when it's time to send it to the art archive
Uh-huh.
in the sky.
Yep.
And but
Oh, that's a whole other.
I'll rip
Okay.
off all the other the roommate googly eyes to try to save them
You're
if I
just,
can.
yeah, I love it. You're salvaging.
Yeah,
That's good.
scavenging. Uh yeah, Wes is she made a had me blow up a balloon and then made a character out of it, like glue, like taped and glued stuff to it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It had a robot, had like a robot or like a rainbow fan as its like body, I guess. I don't know. And this
Yeah.
huge, like red, like maniacal smile that like stuck off the balloon.
Did
It's a
she like
little like a
it? Did she
clown. Yeah, she
carry it
loves
around?
it. No,
Oh, it still
she,
exists.
yeah, I hung it up. I taped it up on a wall.
Hmm.
And so when it falls off, then eventually it will end up in the garbage somehow.
Yeah.
It's a cycle of life, just like all of us,
Yeah.
We get taped to a wall, and then eventually fall down and end up in the garbage somehow.
I mean, that might be one of the best metaphors for the life cycle that I've ever heard.
Oh, thank you so much. I really mean that.
I know you do. I felt the sincerity oozing out
Okay,
of you
good.
through the screen.
Yeah, it's gross. It is really wet over here. I'm so sorry. Um, do you feel like there's any like classism baked into these tales or not?
Oh dear.
Like
I love the
I could have
lens
just
you
signed
bring to
off.
this
Could have
podcast.
just
Yeah.
signed off. But
Yeah.
I was actually like thinking, should I sign off for bringing up classism? Okay, classism.
The
Like,
quintessential
are the
dilemma.
brutes poor people?
I think
Like,
they are.
And like, I'm
Well,
not, it's not like inaccurate in that it's not being judgmental of the people, really. It's being sad about the position they're in because they have so little that they can't even find joy. But then there's a little bit of like, well, then maybe you should just find joy already and then smile and then you'll be happy.
well, especially when it was just like right outside their door, they just never acknowledged it. Like you could go collect berries and herbs
Oh yeah,
instead
that's
of sticks
true.
and stones.
Do you think that good feeling is Christ? Is there any chance that that's what we're talking
No.
about? No?
No.
Because it's like
No.
they showed the natives Christ and the way and how to farm, that whole fucking the
Yep.
natives how
Yep.
to farm.
Yep. Yep. No, I think she found it in a flower patch, or he. And it was nature. It was just like, oh, right place, right time. That's what I thought.
Hmm.
That's funny. I bet, though, there's a lot of people that interpret that the way you're describing it.
Yeah.
If you're of a certain ilk,
It,
like Christian. But I also think then the takeaway, if this is indeed about class, is that money actually could buy you happiness because poverty clearly makes you miserable and
well,
brutish.
I think money can buy. I mean, safety can buy you happiness. I think is really the takeaway, and I think
Financial
what's
safety.
social safety,
Yeah,
safety. I mean, the way it's translated in capitalism is financial safety, yes.
sure.
But like, what I mean is just like they are not having their basic needs met, so they can't possibly like get themselves joy. She can't even get a fucking doll,
I know.
but she can make do, I guess. Oh, she can't make do, but all they have to do is just love each other, and maybe then that would be better.
Mm-hmm. But also some money would help.
The money would provide some safety. Sorry if this got really preachy. I should have just said no. I should have said bye.
I know. I think, with our listeners being who they are, they would have called us out if we didn't bring this up.
Yeah, totally.
I hate all this hate mail that
I
we're
know
getting.
we keep getting all this mail about you not going hard left enough.
Stop dancing around the issues.
Yeah, stop dancing around the issues. Exxon is sponsoring. You're having Exxon ads on your program? Oh, that
Mm.
reminds me. Hold on. Exxon. No, we're not that bad. Do you want to do yours?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
And action.
Dawn Soap, co-sponsor of Exxon, for all your oil spill needs.
For all your duck cleaning needs. Okay, great. We got that in the sack. Is that what you say? In the can. We got all these cans in a big sack and we're ready to go. And that's all we have to say about the Little Brute family / the sister who had a brute doll. If you enjoy the show, please rate and review and tell somebody you like about us. And if you don't like it, then maybe you should reconsider how you're spending your time. For a transcript of this episode or any episode, please send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the address you see on your screen, and we will send you back a VHS tape of the California Raisins Christmas special with the original commercials. Until next time, good night, Mush. Good night, creepy old lady. And good night, book.
The end.